Wholesaler sites. These are websites you can find wholesalers selling properties on. These include sites like InvestorBase, InvestorLift, and Offa. You usually go on there, find deals, and buy them from a wholesaler. This is great if you're the type of person who doesn't have any wholesaler connections and you're looking for some. Auction sites. These are websites where you can find properties that are going to be foreclosed on and bid on them. These are things like auction.com, Zoom.com, and Hubzu. You create an account, look for your area, and you make a bid and close on a property quickly. These can be good because they can save you time on going to auctions, but it's also risky because you usually need cash for these and you don't have the ability to walk the property beforehand. So you'll need extra money to make sure you have enough to deal with tenants or fixes. Government property sites. These are websites that have government foreclosed homes. These are sites like HomeSteps and HUD Home Store. They have homes from the HUD, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac with discounts for certain people like local police, fire, EMT, first-time home buyers, and nonprofits selling homes to low-income buyers. These are good if you're in those categories and they're free, but you usually require a special agent to get in and have limited inventory. Mortgage assumption sites. These are sites that have properties with mortgages with lower interest rates and they are assumable, meaning you can take over the mortgage at a lower rate. These are sites like With Rome, Assume List, and Assumable. The way it works is you go on these sites and look at properties and then you make an offer with an agent where you are assuming the mortgage. Some of these have subscription fees or you pay when you buy. Marketplace sites. These are general marketplaces where people buy and sell things, but they list their house on it. These are sites like Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups, or Craigslist. They list their house and you reach out to the owner with an offer. This is good because you know the owner wants to sell and it's all about getting it at the right price. For sale by owner sites. These are sites that the owner has chosen to try to sell their house themselves without an agent. These are sites like For Sale by Owner or FSBO. You can get properties for a bit cheaper this way because you don't have to pay a real estate agent. These might also be listed on Zillow or other on-market sites, so competition might be higher. Real estate marketplace sites. These are sites where homeowners and buyers can come on to connect. This is not exactly on-market and not exactly wholesaler sites because wholesalers might not be selling the house. These are places like HomeQT.com, Roofstock, and OfferMarket.us. You create accounts, look at properties they have, and make an offer with the seller. Data provider sites and lists. These are websites that have data about homeowners across the country. You can look for properties that might be more motivated to sell. You create a list and then contact them using any of the methods we're going to mention later in the video. These are websites like PropStream, Deal Machine, REI Pro. You usually pay a monthly subscription for these and get a limited number of people you can get information from, but it's super useful as an investor as it gives you access to people across the country. Going to auctions. This is when you go to the foreclosure auction in person and bid on a property. These are either held at the county courthouse or in person at the property. Each county around the US does it differently, and some areas will have more competition over others. You will likely need cash for these or at least a deposit on the day of the auction, and you will need to try and see the property on your own time because you're not allowed to go in technically. Expired MLS listings. These are properties that were on the market that the listing expired, so now they're off market. They're good because people are showing that they were interested in selling the house already, and they might be more motivated because the property was on the market so long and no one bought it. You can find these using sites like PropStream or from your real estate agent. Code violation lists. These are lists of homes that have been fined for overgrown grass, broken windows, or unsafe conditions. This is good because it's a sign that the owner's in distress and more likely to sell, while at the same time there's less competition for these lists. This is free, but requires the work of reaching out to the code enforcement department for their public list of violations. Then you have to contact the owners using the methods we discussed later. Not only that, some of the information is outdated and in bad formats. Fire damage lists. These are lists of homeowners from the city that have had fire damage. You reach out to the fire chief of the city and ask them for the list. Insurance claims take a really long time for people to solve, so they may want the money for you immediately while you fix up the house. So these sellers are highly motivated, but there aren't many of them, and usually these houses need a lot of work. Tax lien lists. This is a list of properties from the city of owners who are behind on their property taxes. Reach out to the county tax collector or treasurer for the delinquent tax list or upcoming tax sales. It's a strong motivation to sell and can help the homeowner out. Utility lien list. These are lists of homeowners who are behind on their water, sewer, gas, or electric bills. Ask the treasurer or the utility department for the list and then reach out to the owners who are behind. For some cities, this information might be split up and hard to find, but if they have it, it can be good motivation that they want to sell their house. HOA lien list. These are lists of properties that are behind on the homeowners association fees. You get this by contacting HOA offices or county records where the liens are recorded. HOAs tend to be in nicer neighborhoods, so this can be a really good way to get a deal in a nice place, but it can be harder to get this information. General liens. These are any other recorded debts against a property, like a contractor can have them if they don't pay for work that got done, or a judgment lien. You get these from the county recorder's office. These can be early signs of distress, but not every lien means they want to sell. Pre-foreclosure. This is a list of properties you can generate from sites like PropStream of homeowners who started falling behind on their mortgage payments because they haven't lost the home yet. This can be an early sign of financial distress and someone needing to sell their house, but it can be a while before they get foreclosed on and they actually sell. Probate. This is a list of homeowners who died and their home is going through court to transfer ownership. You can get this list by checking probate filings online or in person. To find the estate executors, they're the ones that can help you with the property. You can also get this information from a probate attorney. Again, this process can be slow because it takes time to go through court, but lots of people sell their house off market this way. Also, it can make you feel not nice to have contact with someone whose family member just died. Divorce. This is a list of people that go through divorce that own a house together. When people get divorced, usually the biggest asset is in their house, and the easiest way to deal with it is to sell it and split the profits. The cons are these clients are really emotional given they're going through a divorce, and you need to approach this with care. Bankruptcy court records. This is a list of homeowners who have filed for bankruptcy and might need to sell properties. You can use PropStream for this or other data sites like bankruptcy court sites. These people are motivated, but it can be a complex legal process. Eviction court record. Evictions are when a landlord has to legally remove a tenant for not paying or destroying the property. This is a list of homeowners that are going through this. Most owners hate evictions and want to avoid it at all costs. It costs them months of bills and headaches. So these can be very motivated leads, especially if you're willing to deal with the evictions yourself. High equity. This is a list that you can get from PropStream or other data sharing sites that says someone has a lot of equity in their home. Equity is the amount of house value that is actually theirs versus the bank owning it. For example, if they have a $500,000 house and they have $250,000 loan on it, then they have $250,000 in equity on the house. These people aren't that motivated, but they can be good people to target because they can accept a lower offer on their house than the people who have low equity. Vacant. This is a list of homes that have no one living there that you can get from PropStream or other data sources. If the owner doesn't live there, then that can be a motivation that they're just paying property taxes and mortgage insurance on a house that they don't live in. The con is that anyone with a subscription to these data platforms can reach out to these people. Absentee owners. This is a list of owners who live in a different address than the property that you're targeting. This is similar to vacant, but is not the same thing. Vacant can mean no one is living there, but absentee means the owner doesn't live there, but someone else can. It's less motivation than vacant, but still a motivation to sell. Tired landlords. This is a list of landlords you can get from the data platforms that have owned properties for a long period of time. This can be great because usually they have higher equity to negotiate a lower deal, and they're likely interested in selling because they want to sell the house. The con again is that if you have a subscription, then you can have access to these leads. So a lot of people can pay the subscription and get them. Driving for dollars. This is when you drive around to look for houses that look empty or need work. You write down the address, you look up the owner online and ask if they want to sell. This is great because it only costs you gas money and time, and you can get to see the condition of the house up front. Also, this is a list that you create, which means there's less competition for these homes, which means you can get an even better deal. And the only con is it takes a lot of time. An app that can help you with this is Deal Machine. Cold calling. This is when you call homeowners directly. You take a list from the ones we talked about above, you skip trace them, which means you get their contact information, and then you call them. You can manually call them or use a dialer that dials for you like Kixie. It's not super expensive to do, especially if you dial the numbers yourself, but you also have lots of rejection and mean people on the phone. And now they even have platforms that do AI cold calling for you. SMS. This is when you send short text to homeowners who you got from a list. You can do this manually or use an online texting tool. People read text quickly, so it's a way to quickly reach out, but it's harder to convert because people don't trust you enough to respond to your text. It also costs a lot more to do than cold calling because you usually need a software to do it. Email. This is when you send an email to the homeowner you got from a list. You get a list, skip trace the list, and email the owners. You can automate this. You will have an even lower response rate than text, and most of your emails will never even get to someone because it'll go to spam. Direct mail. This is when you send postcards to letters or homeowners. First, you target a list of owners that are motivated to sell using any of the lists we talked about, and then work with a platform like PropStream or Open Letter Marketing to send postcards or notes to these people. Consistency is key with this, so you need to hit a homeowner 4 4 to 5 times usually. You leave your number on the card and have them call you. You will have a low reply rate and it can cost thousands of dollars to do. Door knocking. This is when you walk up to the house and knock on the door of the owner you want to talk to. This will build trust that you're a real person really quickly, but you will get a lot of rejections and no answers. Not only that, it can take a lot of time to go from house to house from the houses you're targeting. Bandit signs. Bandit signs are small signs that you've seen posted around your city that say, "We buy houses cash," with the number on them. You place these at busy streets or near neighborhoods you want deals in. They're really cheap, they work 24 hours a day, and they bring inbound leads. But many cities find the people or remove them, so make sure to know the laws where you're doing this. Social media ads. These are ads you run on social media that will show to people who buy houses with cash and close quick. You basically set a target area and budget or keywords you want to hit. People click the ad, fill out a form, and you call them. This can reach people quickly and easily to test messages and get really good analytics, but it costs money to do constantly. Content marketing. This is when you make videos on social media, blog posts, or posts showing you buy homes. You teach or share stories about you buying homes, and sellers reach out to you when they trust you. This builds trust over time with your audience and leads start coming in for free, but it will take effort and time for the results to show up. Billboards. These are large outdoor signs with your message to buy houses cash. Rent space near highways or neighborhoods and show your phone number. This is great because it will get people inbound to you and build local authority, but it can be expensive and will be hard to track which ads are best. TV advertising. This is a short commercial you make on local channels saying you buy houses for cash. You record a short ad and pay for local airtime. This works better with older audiences who tend to own homes, but high costs and hard to know the results. Radio advertising. This is similar to TV, but for radios. This is even better for local targeting, but still hard to track results. SEO on websites. This is when you make a website so people land on it when they search for things like "sell my house fast." You write a lot of helpful pages with those keywords and get local backlinks. Once you're ranked, you will get free traffic. It will take you a while to do, and SEO is struggling a bit right now with AI. Networking with agents and brokers. This is when you build a relationship with a real estate agent or broker that will get you a lot of business. You basically tell them what you're looking for and tell them you're going to buy things that meet your numbers. They get properties all the time, so they can choose to show you the deal first before putting it on the market. You pay them a commission and it helps them from taking a while when you get the house sold. Wholesalers. These are people who will reach out to homeowners to get them to sell their house. They don't want to keep the houses though, so they just take the house and sell it to an investor. You can find them on sites like Investarters, at real estate meetups, in person, or Facebook groups. This is good because you don't have to do the work to generate the deals, but you have to pay a wholesaler fee, and sometimes the deals they send are not good. Contractors and builders. These are people fixing up or building homes. These people are working on projects they might flip themselves, or they might work with someone who does. These people might find about deals first if you have a good relationship with them, and they might send you the deal. This is how we got our last one, but this isn't one that's super consistent. Divorce attorneys. These are the lawyers that are helping couples go through their divorce. They can tell you about couples who will need to sell or recommend to the couple that they will know someone who would buy their house cash. These are sensitive situations and can take time. Probate attorneys. These are lawyers that are handling the estates when someone dies. These are usually houses that are in good areas with motivation to sell because no one wants the house, they just want the money. You can be quick to close, but the process can move slowly through court. Title companies. These are firms that handle closings and they'll see who's buying and selling. They might be able to refer sellers to you if they sold their house in the past. They might not share the leads because of privacy rules though. Property managers. Property managers are people who deal with tenants and collect rent on a rental property. They're working with investors every day. Some investors might want to stop investing like tired landlords, so they'll be the first to know. If your property manager likes you, then they will send you deals where the investor might sell at a discount to get out quick. Other investors. These are people that are flipping and renting homes that you have a relationship with. They might have gotten a deal that they can't take because they don't have the cash or the manpower to deal with it, so they might wholesale it to you or maybe partner with you on a deal. Sometimes they might keep deals for themselves, so this can be inconsistent. HR at local large employers. HR departments know when employees are moving to or away from an area. If people are moving and have to be relocated for work, they can tell you of the people that will have to sell their house quicker because they need the funds for the new area that they're going to move to. Retirement community managers. These are people who work at retirement homes. If people are thinking of moving to a retirement home, they're likely thinking of selling their house. But these are deals that can take a while as families might be in early stages of solving the problem. CPA and financial advisors. These are accountants and people that manage other people's money. They work with investors investors or homeowners. They might know when someone needs to sell the house for cash for tax purposes. They're usually pretty qualified leads, but referrals can be slow to build and must earn credibility first. Bird dogs. These are people who go out and get you leads for a small fee, usually like $1,000 to $2,000 when a deal closes. This helps you expand your work ethic without employees. This depends on the effort because they don't have a salary. It might take a while or they might not prioritize it. REO departments with banks. The bank is a department that manages the homes they have foreclosed on. You can contact them directly or have a relationship with them. Banks usually are motivated to get rid of properties because they're just costing them money. But banks move slow and require cash buyers. Your personal network. These are friends and family who know you do real estate. You should talk about with them what you're doing and what you're looking for. They can tell you of people that they heard are selling houses, but it's pretty unpredictable. If I missed any, comment them below and click on the video on screen for the next one.